carrying an unsettling blend of amusement and resignation as she addressed the Galactic Council's emergency session. The massive amphitheater, usually a cacophony of translator modules and heated debate, had fallen into an uncomfortable silence. High Counselor Zextal's primary breathing sac inflated with indignation. Your species' repeated warnings about making humans mad have become tiresome. The collective made a strategic decision to demonstrate our technological superiority. The mining colony on Mars was a legitimate military target. Mars? Thompson chuckled, shaking her head. Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. The Mars colony? That was unfortunate, but honestly we had good insurance. No, I'm referring to what you did after that. The assembled alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their environmental pods. The humans' inexplicable calm was more unsettling than any display of rage would have been. The destruction of their colony was meant to demonstrate the futility of resistance. First Speaker Ulan interjected, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into nervous patterns. The subsequent targeting of their entertainment archives was simply logical progression. Thompson's smile widened. You destroyed Netflix. Among other data repositories, yes, Zextal confirmed. Our analysis indicated that humans spend approximately 30% of their leisure time engaging with streaming entertainment services. The psychological impact. You destroyed Netflix, Thompson repeated, this time allowing a hint of steel to enter her voice. And Prime Video, and Disney Plus, and Hulu. You basically deleted every streaming service in the Sol system. The human appears to be experiencing difficulty processing information, Third Speaker Carex noted. Shall we repeat the terms of surrender? Oh no, I understand perfectly, Thompson replied, pulling out her personal device and making a show of checking the time. I just wanted to make sure we're all clear about what you did. Because in about 3 minutes, you're going to understand exactly why we kept warning you about making humans angry. The chamber's artificial gravity fluctuated as several thousand alien representatives simultaneously experienced their species' equivalent of nervous swallowing. You took away our ability to binge-watch our favorite shows, Thompson continued conversationally. You know what that means? It means right now, across Earth and all our colonies, there are billions of humans who can't finish watching their series. People in the middle of their favorite season finales. People who were just about to find out who won their favorite cooking competition. People who had just started a new show, and now they'll never know how it ends. A low-pitched alarm began to sound throughout the chamber. The Council's defensive systems were detecting numerous spatial anomalies. What you're about to see, Thompson said, checking her device again, is what happens when you force several billion humans to go outside and do something productive with their time. Turns out we get really creative when we're bored and irritated. The first reports began flooding in. Human vessels appearing from supposedly impossible vectors, using drive technologies that, according to all known physics, shouldn't work. The ship's designs varied wildly. Some looked like they'd been cobbled together from spare parts and optimism. Others displayed elegance that put the collective's best engineers to shame. How? Zextal demanded, their breathing sac now rapidly cycling through distress colors. Your species was centuries behind. Amazing what humans can accomplish when they're not distracted by deciding what to watch next, Thompson replied. Did you know we have this thing called spite? It's a very powerful motivator. Combine that with boredom and, well, she gestured to the holographic displays showing the rapidly approaching human fleet. Let's just say a lot of people suddenly remembered they had engineering degrees. First Speaker Ulan's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. But our intelligence suggested your species spends most of its free time in passive entertainment consumption. Oh, we do, Thompson agreed. It's one of our favorite things. Right up there with proving people wrong and doing things we've been told are impossible, just because someone said we couldn't. And you managed to motivate us to do both at once. Congratulations. The displays showed more human ships appearing. Some seemed to be using modified garbage scows as battleships. Others appeared to be powered by what looked suspiciously like recycled coffee machines. One particularly impressive vessel had, "This is what happens when I can't watch my shows," painted across its hull in letters visible from orbit. Your council has approximately 5 minutes to surrender, Thompson announced cheerfully. After that, well, there are a lot of humans out there who are caught up on their reading for the first time in years, and they've got some pretty creative ideas about how to redesign your empire's infrastructure. This is absurd, Third Speaker Carex protested. Your species cannot have advanced this quickly merely because we removed your entertainment options. Thompson shrugged. You know how humans sometimes say, I can't deal with this right now, I'm going to go watch some TV? Well, now we have to deal with it. All of it, with no breaks. Do you have any idea how much pent-up productivity you just unleashed? The displays showed human ships now appearing directly inside the collective's defensive perimeter, apparently ignoring several fundamental laws of physics in the process. Is that ship powered by spite? Zextal asked, pointing to a vessel that appeared to be running on pure indignation and duct tape. Technically, it's powered by a revolutionary new drive system that converts human annoyance into usable energy, Thompson explained. We're calling it the I can't believe you've done this drive. Works better than antimatter, if you can believe it. Turns out the average human being produces enough irritation to power a small city when you take away their ability to find out what happens next in their favorite show. The council chamber erupted into chaos as more reports flooded in. Humans were appearing everywhere throughout collective space, armed with impossible technologies, and fueled by the special kind of creativity that only comes from being forced to find alternative entertainment options. Did that human ship just use a weaponized version of their recommendation algorithm? First speaker Ulan asked in horror, watching as a collective battlecruiser's systems were overwhelmed by an endless stream of suggestions about which ship it might like to surrender to next, based on its previous surrender patterns. Oh yes, Thompson nodded. Turns out our software engineers had a lot of free time suddenly. They got creative. Wait until you see what the people who used to spend their time writing fan fiction came up with. Let's just say alternative universe scenarios got a lot more literal. The collective's finest military vessels were being systematically disabled by weapons that seemed to operate on the principle of, wouldn't it be funny if, rather than any recognized laws of physics. One particularly effective system appeared to be powered entirely by redirected complaints about unfinished storylines. Your species is insane, Zexatal declared, watching as another defense platform was converted into what appeared to be an enormous space-based book club. No, we're just really annoyed, Thompson corrected. There's a difference. Insanity implies we don't know what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing. We're going to rebuild your entire civilization's infrastructure because we're bored, we're irritated, and frankly, it's something to do since we can't watch our shows. A new alert sounded through the chamber. Humans had begun converting entire asteroid fields into what they were calling public libraries and makerspaces. Is that ship distributing free Wi-Fi? Third speaker Kurex asked weakly. Better than your quantum communications network, isn't it? Thompson smiled. Amazing what happens when you force our IT professionals to go outside and actually fix things instead of staying home to watch their favorite series. The council representatives watched in mounting horror as humans systematically began improving everything they came across, apparently out of sheer spite and boredom. We surrender, Zextal finally announced. Please, just stop making things better. Oh, it's far too late for that, Thompson replied, checking her device one final time. Do you know how many engineers, scientists, and programmers you forced to actually finish their side projects? The ones they kept putting off because just one more episode turned into entire seasons? We're going to fix everything now. Everything. And we're going to do it the human way. What are your terms? First speaker Ulan asked nervously. Thompson's smile was terrifying in its cheerfulness. Oh, that's simple. You're going to help us rebuild all our streaming services, with full galactic coverage, and then you're going to sit down and watch every single show you made us miss, all of them, with commentary tracks. The council chamber fell silent except for the sound of several thousand aliens simultaneously experiencing their species' equivalent of a desperate groan. And, Thompson added, you're going to join our book clubs. That was the day the galaxy learned why humans had been so insistent about not making them mad. It wasn't the anger they needed to fear. It was what humans did with all that free time when you took away their preferred entertainment options. The collective surrendered unconditionally within the hour. The terms were simple. Full restoration of all streaming services, mandatory participation in human book clubs, and a solemn oath to never, ever interrupt a human in the middle of a binge-watching session again. And that's why, to this day, the most feared words in the galaxy remain. Hey, since I can't watch my shows, I had this idea. So, Admiral Thompson said, reviewing the holographic reports floating before her desk. How are our guests enjoying their mandatory cultural exchange program? Lieutenant Rodriguez tried to maintain his professional composure, but a smirk kept threatening to break through. The collective representatives are adapting, ma'am, though we've had some interesting incidents. Oh? Thompson raised an eyebrow. already anticipating the entertainment value of whatever report was coming. Well, first speaker Ulan has become somewhat invested in Earth's historical soap operas. Their crystalline form has developed what our xenopsychologists are calling emotional refraction patterns corresponding to different plot twists. They're currently leading a support group for aliens traumatized by the concept of human cliffhangers. Thompson nodded sagely. And our friend Zextal? That's actually the most surprising development, Rodriguez replied, pulling up a specific report. They've become an incredibly active participant in online fan communities. Apparently, their species' ability to process multiple data streams simultaneously makes them exceptional at tracking complex plot arcs. They've written several highly regarded analytical essays on narrative structure in human entertainment. And the essay quality? Outstanding, ma'am. Though they keep insisting on adding footnotes about how destroying our streaming services was, and I quote, a regrettable tactical error born of fundamental misunderstanding of human psychological warfare capabilities. Thompson chuckled, but her amusement was interrupted by a priority alert. The holographic display shifted to show a live feed from one of the newly established joint human-alien research facilities. Oh no, she said, recognizing the particular brand of chaos unfolding on the screen. Someone introduced them to cooking shows, didn't they? Yes, ma'am, well, you should probably see for yourself. The footage showed a large laboratory space that had been converted into something resembling a cross between a professional kitchen and a mad scientist's workshop. Various alien species were attempting to recreate human culinary techniques, using their own unique physiologies and technological approaches. Is that third speaker Curex attempting to make a soufflé using quantum probability manipulation? Thompson asked, watching as the arthropoid aliens' attempt at French cuisine seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Yes, ma'am. They've become quite passionate about it. Their argument is that if human cooking shows demand perfection, they're going to achieve it by manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe. And how's that working out? Well, they've accidentally discovered 3 new laws of physics, but they still can't get the soufflé to rise properly. The physics department is ecstatic. The culinary division is less impressed. Thompson watched as the footage showed another alien, this one a gaseous entity contained within an environmental suit, attempting to understand the concept of plating, despite having no personal frame of reference for solid food. Have we perhaps gone too far with the cultural integration program? She wondered aloud. Actually, ma'am, it's been remarkably effective. The collective's scientific productivity has increased by 300% since we introduced them to competitive reality shows. Turns out the concept of winning through elaborate displays of skill is pretty universal. The display shifted again, showing another facility where alien engineers were enthusiastically participating in what appeared to be a cross between a hackathon and a home improvement show. They're calling it Extreme Makeover, Space Station Edition, Rodriguez explained. The latest episode featured a team of Proxima architects completely redesigning a collective military outpost because, according to them, the feng shui was causing operational inefficiencies. And the military applications? Beyond our wildest expectations, ma'am. Once we explained the concept of recap episodes and behind-the-scenes features, the collective's entire strategic command structure reorganized itself to be more narratively coherent. They're now insisting on documenting all military operations with multiple camera angles and compelling character arcs. Thompson leaned back in her chair, contemplating the strange new galaxy they'd created. Any other developments I should know about? Well, Rodriguez hesitated. High Counselor Zextal has submitted a formal request to establish an interstellar film school. They're arguing that if they have to understand human entertainment, they want to participate in creating it. Their pitch actually includes some interesting ideas about incorporating multiple alien perspectives into storytelling. Approved, Thompson said immediately. But make sure they understand the importance of proper pacing and character development. We don't want another incident like the documentary series about the Mars colony attack. You mean the one where they tried to reframe it as a home renovation show? Exactly. Though I have to admit, Extreme Planetary Makeover, Revenge Edition did have a certain charm to it. The display shifted once more, showing various scenes from across human and collective space. Alien species that had once been enemies were now engaged in heated debates about plot theories and character motivations. Military strategists were applying binge-watching stamina to long-term planning sessions. Entertainment had become the universal language they'd always hoped to find among the stars. One more thing, ma'am, Rodriguez added. The Collective Council has submitted a formal proposal for their own streaming service. They're calling it Galactic Flix. Oh? And what's their angle? They're promising content from across the universe, but with fewer cliffhangers because we learned our lesson about making humans wait for resolution. Thompson smiled. Approve it, but make sure they understand our terms about season renewals and cancellations. We don't want another incident. You mean like when they tried to cancel that show about the space pirates, and the fans literally rewrote local space-time to ensure it got another season? Exactly, though you have to admire the dedication. Who knew that spite-powered temporal mechanics could be so effective? The galaxy was changing, one binge-watching session at a time. The Collective had learned not only why they shouldn't make humans mad, but also why human entertainment was so addictive. As it turned out, the desire for a good story transcended species, and the need to know what happens next was truly universal. One last report, ma'am, Rodriguez said. The joint human-alien writers' room working on the official dramatization of the Netflix incident is requesting additional funding. Apparently, they're having creative differences about how to portray the scene where we weaponized recommendation algorithms. Thompson sighed. Tell them they can have the funding, but I want at least 3 plot twists and a compelling B-story about the IT department that figured out how to power faster-than-light travel using pure frustration. Yes, ma'am. And the documentary team following the cooking show participants? Give them whatever they need. If we're going to have peace in the galaxy, it might as well be entertaining. As Thompson dismissed her lieutenant, she couldn't help but smile at the latest viewing statistics coming in from across collective space. Who would have thought that the key to interstellar harmony would be binge-worthy content and a shared appreciation for good storytelling? Though she did make a mental note to check on that temporal mechanics research team. The last thing they needed was another group of fans trying to rewrite reality because they were unsatisfied with a season finale. Some things, it seemed, were truly universal after all. Admiral Thompson, we may have a situation, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, entering her office with an urgency that suggested something had gone spectacularly wrong in the most human way possible. Please tell me no one tried to reboot another cancelled series by creating an alternate dimension again. Thompson sighed, already pulling up her emergency protocols display. Worse, ma'am. The Collective's Entertainment Ethics Committee has discovered Earth's historical archives of reality television. Thompson froze. Which era? Early 2000s? Mother of Thompson stood abruptly. Tell me they haven't started trying to replicate the formats. Rodriguez's expression confirmed her worst fears. The Proxima delegation has already launched what they're calling the Real Housewives of the Galactic Core. 3 solar systems have filed formal diplomatic protests about the drama spreading to their sectors. Casualties? Only to good taste, ma'am. Though we've had to establish a dedicated task force to handle the increasing number of aliens demanding to speak to the galactic manager. Thompson pinched the bridge of her nose. And the cooking shows? Third speaker KRX has evolved beyond quantum soufflés. They're now hosting a show called Kitchen Impossibilities, defying physics for flavor. Last week's episode accidentally created a new form of matter that tastes like chicken. Of course it tastes like chicken, Thompson muttered. What else? The Collective Council is divided over the concept of voting systems for their entertainment programs. Apparently, some species find the idea of audience participation to be democratically destabilizing. There's particular concern about the potential for interstellar voting blocks in their upcoming talent competition, Galaxy's Got Peculiarities. Thompson brought up the latest cultural exchange metrics on her display. The graphs showed an exponential increase in what was being termed entertainment-driven technological advancement. It seemed that introducing aliens to human reality TV had accelerated their innovation in unexpected ways. Show me the worst of it, she commanded. Rodriguez hesitated before bringing up a series of feeds. The Arcturian hive mind has become obsessed with home renovation shows. They've started a program called Extreme Makeover, Hive Mind Edition, where they redesign entire collective consciousness structures. The before and after reveals are intense. Define intense. Last week's episode resulted in an entire species developing a new level of cognitive awareness, just so they could better appreciate the accent walls. Thompson watched the feeds with a mixture of horror and fascination. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations were rapidly transforming as they attempted to incorporate human entertainment concepts into their societies. Is that first speaker Ulan hosting a dating show? Yes, ma'am. Love is Crystalline has become quite popular. Turns out their species' ability to refract emotions makes for compelling television. Though we've had to establish new protocols for handling crystalline entities who shatter from emotional overload during particularly dramatic rose ceremonies. And Zextal? They've launched a streaming network dedicated entirely to what they call historically accurate reenactments of human memes. Their documentary series, Understanding Human, A Journey Through Internet Culture, has won several interstellar awards, though we're still trying to explain why humans found keyboard-playing cats so entertaining. Thompson leaned back in her chair, contemplating the magnitude of what they'd unleashed on the galaxy. Any serious concerns? Well, Rodriguez consulted his notes. There is growing concern about the spread of what aliens are calling binge-watch behavior. Several species have had to implement mandatory viewing breaks to prevent productivity collapse. The Centaurian Philosophy Council is particularly worried about the concept of just one more episode entering their collective vocabulary. And the positive developments? Surprisingly numerous, ma'am. The shared experience of watching and creating entertainment has led to unprecedented levels of interspecies cooperation. The collective scientific community has made remarkable advances in their attempt to understand why humans find certain things entertaining. Such as? They've developed faster-than-light travel based on the principle of dramatic timing, created quantum computers that run on plot twists, and accidentally solved several fundamental physics problems while trying to create more engaging special effects. Thompson nodded thoughtfully. And the cultural integration programs? Exceeding expectations, ma'am. The joint human-alien writers' rooms have become informal diplomatic channels. Turns out, nothing brings species together quite like arguing about character development and plot arcs. Any security concerns? Only one major issue, ma'am. We've detected what appears to be an underground network of aliens sharing what they call forbidden content. Weapons? Classified information? No, ma'am. Episodes of canceled Earth TV shows. They're particularly obsessed with series that never got proper endings. There's an entire black market dedicated to fan theories and alternate endings. Thompson couldn't help but smile. And our response? The official recommendation is to regulate rather than prohibit. We're proposing a new division, the Department of Entertainment and Interstellar Cultural Exchange, DICE for short. Mission parameters? Officially, to facilitate the responsible sharing of human entertainment culture across the galaxy. Unofficially, to prevent any more species from attempting to rewrite reality because they're unsatisfied with season finales. Thompson considered this as she watched a feed showing alien children learning about human history through carefully curated sitcom episodes. Any other developments I should know about? Just one, ma'am. The Collective Council has unanimously voted to establish an annual Galactic Entertainment Awards ceremony. They're calling it the Streamies, celebrating stories across space. And the categories? Everything from Best Quantum Physics-Defying Cooking Show to Most Emotionally Devastating Season Finale, though they're still debating whether time-traveling fans should be allowed to vote. Thompson stood, walking to the window that overlooked Earth's bustling spaceport. Ships of various alien designs moved through the traffic patterns, many now sporting antenna arrays specifically designed for catching up on their favorite shows during long-distance travel. You know, Lieutenant, she mused, when we said we'd achieve peace through cultural exchange, this isn't quite what I had in mind. No, ma'am, but it seems to be working. The latest surveys show that interspecies conflict is at an all-time low. Turns out it's hard to maintain ancient grudges when you're all waiting for the same season premiere. And the future? The xenosociologists are predicting what they call a total entertainment integration within the next decade. They're particularly interested in studying how different species interpret and adapt human storytelling conventions. Any recommendations? Just one, ma'am. They suggest we start preparing for the inevitable moment when aliens discover human video games. Thompson's expression shifted to one of amused concern. God help us all when they find out about MMORPGs. Indeed, ma'am. Should I begin drafting protocols for that eventuality? Priority 1, Thompson confirmed. And Rodriguez? Make sure we have a camera crew ready. Something tells me that's going to make one hell of a reality show. As her lieutenant left, Thompson turned back to the window, watching as a massive alien vessel decorated with what appeared to be streaming service logos glided past. Thompson massaged her temples. What about first speaker Ulan? They've become particularly enamored with puzzle games. Their crystalline form apparently makes them exceptionally good at spatial reasoning challenges. They've started a professional streaming channel called Crystal Clear Gaming that has millions of subscribers across 3 galactic arms. And Zextal? They've developed what they call immersive historical simulation games based on human history. Their latest release, Netflix War, the interactive experience, has become quite popular, though we've had to issue several clarifications about their creative interpretation of events. The displays shifted to show various scenes from across the galaxy. Alien species that had once been focused on reality TV and streaming shows were now diving deep into gaming culture with characteristic intensity. The technological implications? Thompson inquired. Revolutionary, if somewhat concerning, Rodriguez replied. Several species have made breakthrough advances in quantum computing while attempting to reduce loading times. The Centaurian Science Academy developed a new form of AI while trying to create more realistic NPCs, and we're still trying to understand how the Arcturus hive mind managed to optimize their entire neural network just to improve their competitive gaming performance. Casualties? Mostly to productivity, ma'am. We've had to establish mandatory rest periods after several species discovered the concept of just one more turn in strategy games. The diplomatic corps is particularly concerned about an incident where an entire sector's governance was determined by the results of a multiplayer gaming session. Thompson pulled up another report, this one marked with multiple priority flags. And this situation with the virtual reality systems? Rodriguez shifted uncomfortably. That's complicated, ma'am. Several species have become deeply invested in VR gaming. The collective's xenobiologists are studying what they call the immersion paradox. Apparently, some aliens find human virtual worlds more comprehensible than actual human society. Examples? Well, the Proxima ambassador now insists on conducting all diplomatic meetings within a virtual space, designed to look like a classic fantasy tavern. They claim it enhances negotiation dynamics and insist on referring to trade agreements as quest rewards. Thompson stood, walking to her office's window. The view had changed recently. Massive holographic advertisements now floated in the sky, promoting everything from interstellar esports tournaments to alien-developed game streaming platforms. And what of the gaming addiction concerns? The situation is being monitored, ma'am. Though I should note that the collective's attempt to implement gaming time restrictions was met with creative resistance. Define creative. Several species developed what they're calling time dilation entertainment chambers,